Hello, people. On this day, 16th of November, 2025, welcome to More Sports Studios, where we'll be discussing the issue about the game that was played yesterday between Senegal and Brazil. And also, we're going to be having some preview of the match that is going down tonight. That is between the Eagles, Super Eagles of Nigeria, and the DRC Congo. That is what every one of you is expecting on who qualifies from the Africa zone. But today I've got the guys, the brains behind More Sports with me to discuss all of these issues. So I'm going to be welcoming Dr. Wole Opatola, that you know very well. He is well traveled. He's traveled 135 or 36 countries of the world, reporting sports, and he is with us today. We are lucky and we are proud to have him on the More Sports team. You're welcome, Dr. Wole Opatola.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
And I don't know what's happened. Kenny Fagbuu was with us. We were back in the studio, and his phone has gone off. But we will carry on regardless.
Okay.
Dr. Wole,
Yes.
you were there live yesterday at the Emirates, stadium, which happens to be your home stadium because you support Arsenal
Exactly.
Football Club,
Exactly.
and Brazil took on Senegal, and you've recorded this fantastic, pre-game, footage. I want you to give the viewers to talk us through the atmosphere. When Brazil plays, when African team plays, the carnival-like atmosphere.
Yeah.
Just give us a taste of. Describe it for us.
Well, you all know that Brazil is synonymous with samba, So we saw samba, best of samba on display yesterday. Uh, Look, the Arsenal Stadium is about 60,000 capacity.
Oh,
We had 58,680 people in the stadium.
68,000.
58,000.
58,000. Okay.
58,680 people in the stadium yesterday.
Whoa.
And look, I can tell you that like 70% of that population were Brazilians. You know,
Whoa.
the Brazilians came from everywhere. Some
Mm-hmm.
people flew in from Brazil for
Mm-hmm.
that game.
Mm-hmm.
Some Brazilians came in from Europe. Most of the Brazilians there came in from the UK, of course.
Yeah.
And look, these guys, I struggle to differentiate, or I struggle to really say that Argentines love football more than the Brazilians, or the
Brazilians.
Brazilians love football more than the Argentines. In fact, there was a stage, there was a stage yesterday. Even the Brazilians were singing about Maradona. You know, um, I'm telling you,
Oh.
my experience, of covering the World Cup, I have seen the Argentines at close quarters.
Mama
It's,
Jama was CBN.
I think Mr. Fagbuu has to mute his mic. You know,
Okay, I'm listening, Dr. Wale.
yes,
Penny will have
so,
to get set and talk.
yes. My experience covering the World Cup, I have seen the Argentines at close quarters. The Argentines could pay any amount of money to watch football.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I remember at a point when we were at the World Cup in 2014 in Brazil, and Argentina were to play Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the Argentines didn't have tickets. Most of them came into the border. Argentina and Brazil, they share the same border. So most of
Oh.
them came into the border, but they came to the venue of the game without tickets for the match, and they were ready to buy at any amount. Look, it got to a stage, even Nigerians had to be selling their own tickets to the Argentines,
Wow.
because they were offering, I mean, irresistible, amount of money for those tickets. They first started with $300, you know. It got to a stage, they started offering $1,000, you know, just to get a ticket to watch the game,
The
you
game
know. So I saw that same spirit yesterday in the
yesterday.
Brazilians. I mean, what could make the Brazilians to fly in from all parts of the world?
Okay. Before I come to Kende, if you're watching us, Kende has joined us back.
Just a moment, please.
Kende.
So, yesterday, the Brazilians came to the stadium with their drums. They came with their microphone. They came with their dancing shoes. They came prepared.
Okay, so I remember that you were at the Brentford GTEC Stadium.
That's right.
In the summer to cover the Ghanaian and Nigerian game. It was also the same carnival-like atmosphere. So between these one and Senegal, and then Nigeria, Ghana, was this the same feel, or was there something that's different?
Well, I think yes. In terms of the atmosphere, I think it's the same thing, or it was the same thing, because. But you have to look at the fact that was a 4-nation tournament. I'm talking about the one at the GTEC Stadium.
Okay.
So that was a 4-nation tournament. So we had 4 nations practically, giving us something to remember. But this time around, we are talking about a friendly between 2 teams. And the Brazilians alone added too much color, too much vibes. I mean, they brought everything. I mean, it was difficult to even remember that it was a friendly encounter. It was as if you were coming to watch a competitive game. And even if it was not going to be competitive, with the atmosphere yesterday, even the players themselves had no choice than to bring their A game. To the match.
Okay, it's been said that there's no friendly game when it comes to the Brazilians, and we appreciate that. So I'm going to come to Kenny Fagbuu, who is a colleague as well, and I would say is my CEO in More Sports. I want you to. Dr. Wole has painted a picture of what went down with the culture, the culture clash between the Senegalese and the Brazilians. Would you say it is down to the fact that in London there are more Brazilians than there are Francophone West Africans, and in terms of economic capability, that the Brazilians do have more money, because they have better economy than the Senegalese and the African crowd that can come from Paris to come and watch the Senegal game. What do you have to say, Kende?
Yeah, I think there are two ways to look at it. The first one is Senegal. Senegalese are not many in the UK because of language. And it's a Francophone country. Most of them are in France. And so the population of the South Americans and the Senegalese in the UK are not the same. Then secondly, we still have enough crowd of Africans and Senegalese in that stadium yesterday that came to support Senegal. But what really threw Brazil out in that carnival atmosphere is they have the culture, the passion for that kind of thing. For instance, if you look at the Unity Cup that we covered too earlier in the year, you see the Caribbeans, the carnival culture in Latin America contributed a lot to what we saw yesterday. One of the people that commented on our Facebook said the Brazilians didn't come to play watch football. They came for carnival. Beyond sports, they do this naturally. If you see, there's the Samba festival in Brazil, and a lot of Samba Latin America festival in the UK too. They're always very colorful. So the two ways we're going to look at it is, number one, population. Disadvantage of the Senegalese because of the population in the UK, because of language barrier and the colonial link to France more than the UK. The second one is even despite the population of Africans and the Senegalese in that stadium, the Brazilians looked more domineering, let me use the word, in that stadium because they were in carnival mode. They came in the natural self. The same way they celebrate their samba, the same way they celebrate their festival, they came in that carnival to the stadium.
Thank you so much. You know, a lot of people who watch clips of what is going on inside the stadium, they do not understand the politics, the sociology, you know, that is the economics, you know, of what is outside of the stadium. And I'm glad that, you know, the two of you are well traveled and you are able to observe these things and let our you know, followers understand, you know, what happens behind the scene. So we would like to go into the match itself. And I would like to appeal to our listeners or, you know, followers, anyone watching us now. If you have any question, if you have any observation, please put it down type it underneath, and I'll be retrieving it from here, and I'll be asking our esteemed, you know, resource people, Kenny Fagbuu and Wole Opatola. Please keep the questions coming, and then we'll ask them. So going into the match proper, I'm talking to Dr. Wole now. Senegal is arguably the best African side at the moment. The last time they played Brazil, I think they won 4-1, you know, and yesterday's match was more of a revenge, you know, mission. You know, we need to avenge, you know, the defeat that went, you know, but so I want you to let us know the quality of personnel, the quality of coaching, and the quality that Senegal had when they beat Brazil 4-1, and the one they currently have now, the one that lost that yesterday's game 2-0. How would you rate them, and how would you assess their overall performance in yesterday's game?
No, I think the Senegalese. Well, you see, let's see. Yesterday as well, you know, there was a boxing game, you know, a boxing match, you know, Eubank and Ben.
Yeah.
You know, just last April, Eubank had defeated Ben, you know, and yesterday, I mean, about 7 months, we saw a very, very lackadaisical display coming from Eubank. You know, he looked out of sorts, you know, against Ben, the same Ben he had beaten 7 months earlier. And of course, we got a pounding, you know, from round 1 to round 12. And even in round 12, we saw 2 knockdowns back to back. In the end, Ben won. That was exactly what played out between Brazil and Senegal yesterday. The Senegalese were in fact, they had their worst performance in 45 minutes, you know, in the first half of the game. I mean, when Brazil started out like a house on fire, you know, we thought that, yeah, maybe first 10 minutes, you know, and then afterwards, we're going to see a much more balanced game and all. But nothing changed. It was 45 minutes of total domination by the Brazilians. You know, the Senegalese hardly came out of their shell. So it's one of two things. Either the Senegalese came into the game overconfident, you know, because they had beaten same side earlier, and they had also beaten England, you know, because, I mean, I discussed with some of their fans, you know, there's a borderline between confidence and arrogance, you know. So I felt the pulse of the Senegalese as well, you know, before the game, you know, and while I feel that, yes, it's good to be confident, I saw a tinge of arrogance, you know, in the way they talked as well, you know. So perhaps the same could be said of the players. But then they got a surprise of their lives, you know, because, I mean, the Brazilians came for war. You know, it was not a friendly game. You know, the Brazilians came in, I mean, look at the lineup, you know, the best they could provide, you know, Rodrigo, Vinicius Juniors, Gabriel, Edison, you know, and all, I mean, Casemiro and all, you know, and trust me, it could have been more than 2 goals in the first 45 minutes. You know, they had tons and tons of chances. You know, the Senegalese were merely, you know, hanging on to I mean, for their lives, you know, and it was no surprise that the tempo dropped in the second half. I mean, the job seemed to have been done, you know, in the first half. Although the Senegalese actually had a very great opportunity to come back into the game in the second half when a mistake by the Brazilian goalkeeper could have led to a goal, but Ndiaye, which in what will go down as the loss of the biggest loss of 2025, just refused to put the ball in the net. Maybe that could have been a turning point of the game. Maybe that could have brought the Senegalese back into the game. But maybe that could even have spurred on the Brazilians to go gaga once again, But it was a controlled performance in the second half. They knew themselves that they had done enough, in the first half, and the Senegalese were not really up to it. So, I mean, look at the Senegalese lineup. I feel that they had their best players on parade yesterday, from Mane to Sarr, Ndiaye. Everybody was present, from defense to midfield to attack, but they just couldn't click. They just didn't click. So that's just football for you sometimes. And like I said earlier on, we could also borrow a leaf from the Eubank and Ben boxing game.
That's a fantastic ideology. I mean, it's an analogy. Sorry, I'm going to come to Kenny, but just a quick one, Dr. Wole. Yeah, what do you make of the Esteval, performance yesterday?
Well, I mean, for anyone who has been to our YouTube page, the way we described the goal, we said it was a world-class goal by Esteval, the very first goal. I mean, it's not all the time that you see such performance from a teenager, for someone who is just coming into the big-time league. I think he really established himself at the Club World Cup. To inform everybody about what to expect when he gets to the Premier League. And since his arrival in the Premier League with Chelsea, I mean, everybody is convinced beyond doubt now that this player, Esteval, has got a long way to go. I mean, in a team with Kopama, Neto, and all, and is getting shirts week in, week out. That tells you a lot about his quality. His performance yesterday was top notch. He was a constant threat to the Senegalese defense, and rightly so. He was the one who slotted home the very first goal. The brilliance was calculative. The finishing was top notch. Honestly speaking, that's a start to watch out for. And I think his best is yet to come. Between now and the World Cup, he can only get better. So I think that is one big weapon that the Brazilians will be taking to the World Cup.
World Cup. Thank you so much. So I'm going to come back to Kenny right now. Before I ask you my question, from the live stream chat, Fede says that nice to see Mr. Kenny Fagbuu on live TV. I'm enjoying myself here. And then Jeff has commented and said the Senegalese defense let themselves down. Okay, before we even come to that at all, I just want to, you remember we ran a story on More Sports about the Flying Eagles team to the World Cup in 1987. In which one of the players was saying that, look, I thought that we underestimated the Brazilians. While we're supposed to be working hard behind the scenes, we were busy taunting them. We thought that we would go there and win everything. Do you sense something like that with the Senegalese yesterday? That's number one question. The number two one is, can you tell us something that is in the mind of the Brazilian coach? What was he testing out with an African team? What was he testing out with Senegal, that is the best African team at the moment? Please, could you attempt those two questions?
Me?
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah. The first part that I will address is the person in charge of Brazil now is arguably the best in the business, one of the best ever in the business, Ancelotti. When the match started, I believe a shrewd coach like Ancelotti would have noticed the naivety in the Senegalese setup. Because even myself, as I was watching it on the terrace, the first thing I told Dr. Wole was, look, there's a lot of gap in the midfield of the Senegalese. Another thing, I think, if I noticed that, Ancelotti would have noticed too, is that Ismail Assar was meant to be a 9. He was playing more from the wings. So my assumption initially was maybe they were trying to play a first line. So Ismail Assar was not really there because the spine, there is what they call a spine in a team. You have the attack, you have the midfield, and the defense. Once the spine is weak in a team, any tactical coach will exploit that. And when you are playing against a team arranged by Ancelotti, it will be so easy for him to expose the team because attack, Ismail Assar was not right there. He was playing more as a false nine. The midfield, the gap between the midfielders were too wide. If you see the move for the first goal, Ancelotti probably exploited that because the pass that was sent to the wing actually exploited the gap between about 3 players in that midfield. And the attack and the defense, as everybody could see, you can see that one of our followers said that the defense was porous. It was porous. For instance, look at the free kick. The free kick that led to the first goal. The defenders were trying to set up an offside trap. And the ball was in flight. There was a free player right beside, on the other side, on the right back. He was free. He was alone, and the ball flew over to meet him. So, what I think, Ancelotti didn't really need to study so much before the match. Because by the time the match started, it was glaring. All those things I'm enumerating were glaring, even from the spectators. The gap in the middle, the point man, Ismail Assar, not properly positioned, and the porosity of defense. For Ancelotti, whether it's an African team or a European team, he has seen it all. He has seen it all. He doesn't take a person of Ancelotti's caliber to read a game within 10 minutes of starting the game. We all saw it, and he must have saw it. We saw the glitches because for the first 40 minutes, Brazil was playing throughout in the middle, in the half of Senegal. And the reason why they took over like that was because of their spaces in midfield. They exploited it to the maximum.
Okay, thank you so much for that response. I think it was Jeff. Jeff mentioned it, and I think on the page there was one of our followers. I think it's Samuel Barnabas, who also mentioned what you said about the defense, because when the video that Dr. Wole Opatola sent, was shown on our Facebook page, that was his first comment. He said, "Look," and that's what leads me to this question for you, Dr. Wole Opatola. I saw the match as well, albeit not from the stadium, not from the terraces like you guys enjoyed. I saw it online, and what I kept seeing was, like Kenny said, was they were playing the ball. So the Senegalese were trying to kind of like man mark, but they were playing the ball over the space that they left behind for Vinicius Junior to exploit. So, and Vinicius was just having a field day, running at the goal, running at everybody. So it creates some state of panic within, that Senegalese defense, and it kept happening again and again and again. So what I want to ask, the question I want to ask Dr. Wole is that because it happened throughout the first half, and it also happened, maybe once something keeps happening regularly, you expect that a good coach will observe that and try to correct it, right? Would you say the Senegalese coach did not live up to expectation in correcting, that technical disadvantage? And what can he do going forward? Because it's going to meet quite a lot of teams that will be exploiting. Because we know when you play low block nowadays, all you need to do is flat the ball over. And if you have a player that can beat one-to-one, you can create panic in the defense, and that is when you get your chance. So was the Senegalese coach slow in changing things, or does he not have the wherewithal, to do it?
No, I think we saw a more composed Senegalese team in the second half. I mean, I believe a lot was done, in terms of team talk, in the dressing room at halftime. And you could see that earlier on in the second half, the coach made some substitutions. So I think the coach must have noticed what we also noticed, and but I think he waited too long, to effect the changes. I mean, there's nothing that says you cannot change your game plan, when it's going wrong in the first half. You do not really need to change the personnel, but you can change the strategy. You can change the strategy. So I was expecting that Senegalese were not going to crowd the midfield in the first half to try and not only stop the Brazilians from playing, but also to dictate the pace of the game. Like you said, it was very obvious that they were the Senegalese were struggling to cope with the pace of the Brazilian wingers. I mean, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Estevao, they were busy running rings around the Senegalese defense. So it was more about how do we curtail these rampaging players? How do we cut off their network? How do we cut off their supply? So if I had been on the sidelines of the Senegalese team yesterday, what I would have done was to now overcrowd the midfield. Let us look, you can only dominate in football if you have got possession. Without possession, you will only be running around without having a direction. So the Senegalese should have crowded out the players in the midfield, make sure that they retain possession, and force the Brazilians to commit the fouls out of frustration. Yesterday, we saw that the Senegalese were the ones committing the fouls because they got frustrated. And that was what resulted into the second goal. A very well taken free kick, and Casemiro, wonderful footballer, any day, anytime. So honestly, I feel more confident with the Senegalese team of their former captain and defender. I feel confident with that team because of the way he built the team, because of the way he handled the team, and all that. So sometimes these things matter. Sometimes, like Mr. Fagbuu has also said, look at the Brazilian team right now. They are coached by one of the best in the world, Ancelotti. Who has seen it. He has seen it all in Spain. He has seen it all in France. I mean, in Italy. He has seen it all in England. He's a man who played the game himself to the highest level. And all. So even the players themselves, every day of their life, they need to keep reminding themselves that the gaffer is one of the best, if not the best. So what is it that's stopping us? What can stop us? So for the Brazilians, the sky is the limit. But then the Senegalese, this is now an eye-opener that they are not there yet. They are one of the best from Africa, without doubt about it. But then things change really quick in football. And you saw that at the last AFCON too, where they didn't really have the best of performance. The AFCON is next month. Now they know that they have a lot of...
Hold it. I know you're going to be at AFCON, and I know that you're planning something, in AFCON. We will get to that. I wanted to keep it under wraps.
Yes.
I'll quickly move to Kenny Fagbuu. Yes, Dr. Wole, Jeff is in agreement with you about your observation. He says on the live stream chat that yes, the Senegalese coach waited too long to make his changes. And then Fede came around and said Casemiro was left unmarked for the second goal of the match. And that's where I draw my question for you, Kende. Do you think the backline of the Senegalese national team is aging and is now slower to respond to these things?
Yes. Not only the backline. Look, I sat with a friend yesterday. The first thing we noticed about Koulibaly, he said Koulibaly is now playing in Saudi League and Sadio Mane. He said, Koulibaly is slower. This is not the Koulibaly we knew. This is not the Koulibaly when Senegal won the Nations Cup. It's now slower. The reaction to game is slower, definitely. Then Sadio Mane, the talisman of the team. Oh no, Sadio Mane is operating at about 20% of who he was right now. So I want to accept that boils down more to the quality of the league where they're playing now. If you notice now that as England is approaching the World Cup now, most of their players playing the Saudi League are coming back to Premier League so that they can force their way to the national team for the World Cup. So the competitiveness of the Saudi League and coupled with the age of this player, you can't be at the highest level forever. Oh. Sadio Mane has played a lot of metallic games in the past. Koulibaly has played a lot of metallic games from Napoli. They are not as young as they were. So that was, apart from the personnel of the technical crew, we need to look at the players, to look at their ages, and look at the quality of the leagues where they're playing. Okay. So the sharpness wasn't there. Even Idrissa Gueye is about 34 years old now. Yeah. You get what I mean? Mm-hmm. So even if the coach has the best plan, you still need materials to execute it. Yeah. So because so for Koulibaly was so frustrated yesterday. I was asking Dr. Wole to say, I'm like, as a captain, he became frustrated. He wanted to be fighting. Yeah, because protesting for situations that he himself created, that he caused. So that's apart, the players, their age, the quality of the league where they're playing presently, they've slowed down. Then the coach, I'm not going to miss my word, the present coach is technically very naive. Extremely very naive. Because it's not about substitution. On the terrace, we saw the gaps in that team. We saw the gap in the middle. I saw Ismail Assar. I was asking myself, where is their top 9? How many shots attempts did he make at goal? Why is it Ismail Assar playing from the wing? No, I mean, it's the coach should see that. Koulibaly, look, Nigeria coach, Eric Chelle, in the crucial match substituted the Christian Kong, 5 minutes into the second half of the game. He watched him in the first half. He saw his reaction to the attackers of his opponent. 5 minutes in the second half, he substituted him straight. So why do you have to leave Koulibaly for so long in that game? When you saw his reactions and when you saw the goal coming and the way they were harassing him.
Oh, okay, thank you so much for that. I do agree with you, totally. But I'm just going to ask one last question on this game. Yeah, and Fede agrees that yes, the Senegalese backline is aging, and coupled with what Kenny Fagbuu has told us, that we need to look at the age, of the players. The players are aging. That is no doubt. When Idrissa Gueye at 34. And is still in the beginning of the league, and it's been used at Everton for so many games. So that is going to happen. Of course, the naivety of the coach, especially, and that's what leads me to the last question on yesterday's match, in which both of you were on the terrace, watching it live. And I know that Dr. Wole has a particular interest, in the game. It was played on his turf. Second, one of his team's players got injured. So the question I'm going to ask is picked from what Kenny said about naivety of the coach. So when you have a very strong back line that Brazil, has, and they have a protective edge, Casemiro sitting in front of that defense with another guy, and then what Ancelotti was doing is relying on the wingers, to just get the ball and run at the attackers. Is it true that this coach for the Senegalese is truly naive and probably may not bring out the best in this Senegalese team at the World Cup.
I said it earlier on that I prefer the Senegalese team of Aliou Cisse, to this team. Since the sacking of Aliou Cisse, in October 2024, and now, I've seen a gradual decline, in the level of play, of the Senegalese team. I mean, never mind. They still defeated England, in friendly, under this same picture and all that. But then, if one is a steady, so someone who has been observing the Senegalese team at close quarters, you will know that the firepower is gradually, going out of the team. However, there's something paramount that we also need to take into consideration: the fact that this team is aging. The coach himself had spent nearly 10 years with the team and had built this same team from scratch. Playing at that level for 10 years, it's not easy. You will get to a stage, all right, you start to decline. Declination will set in. So maybe this team have already played to their highest and they've got nowhere else to go than to start coming down. Don't forget they got to the round of 16 at World. Yes.
I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Kenny, for a question that is, paramount. But before that, Jeff said something here that I need to read out and put it to Dr. Wole. Jeff says that it was a friendly match. The Senegalese coach should have tried other young defenders instead of playing old men. But the question I'm going to ask you is in line with this. If the Senegalese, if the data, the sporting data, the performance data that is coming in from the coaching crew is that this team is aging and may have peaked, how come they are not? You went to Senegal. That's why I'm asking you this question. You went to Senegal. You visited all of the academies in Senegal. You saw what is going on. Senegal seems to be, from your report of what you saw firsthand, Senegal seems to be one of the African countries with the best, academic system in Africa. So how come that they cannot have a steady stream of players to replace some of these aging, stars, or to be in the team? At least they should have like 5 to 6 of these new, stars that are coming through, to help to rejuvenate that team. What is your take on this?
Okay, you see, there was a time Marion Yali, still kept going. That's even after the likes of Falila Togukoya, Fatima Yusuf, Christopher Thompson had retired. I mean, these were same set of athletes that grew up around the same time, came into the scene about the same time, and for them to have left, but you kept going. And Mary Ali was asked, and she said, but I'm still the queen. I'm still the track queen in Nigeria. Same thing for the table tennis player now. What's her name again now?
Aruna Quadri.
The woman table tennis player. She
Kafo.
kept going.
Is it Bosse Kafo?
No, it was it Bosse Kafo, the one that the foremost Nigerian table tennis woman player. She kept going.
Oshinake.
And she said, look, Oshinake. I said, I'm yet to be defeated, So the Senegalese wouldn't have known how bad they have become until they start getting beat. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. I mean, look at the qualifiers. They had a great qualifiers. In fact, the DRC that Nigeria will be playing later tonight, we're in the same group with them. There was a game that the DRC went two goal up, but they allowed the Senegalese to come back and wrap up the game. So when you keep winning games like that, you wouldn't know how bad you are. It's like when you are a king, you know, in the land of the half blinded or one or one. I mean, one-eyed people.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't know that. I mean, look, yours is as you have this developed astigmatism, you know, something. The Senegalese team now will go back and have a total examination of their squad after yesterday's performance against Brazil.
Oh, okay, thank you so much.
Nobody
So,
had nobody had ever made them look so ordinary. So
oh,
it's not that they don't have those youngsters. And like you said, more sports we have been into Senegal, and
mhm.
the people will start feeling us in a couple of days from now, from next month, as we bring out our revelation about the Senegalese team, what made them become kings of Africa,
Mhm.
because these academies, you know, the Ambers and others were churning out the talents needed for this level. And those boys grew up from the Senegalese academies, came to Europe, blossomed, and now took Senegal to the pinnacle of world football. So very soon, people will
Mhm.
see that on from More Sports
Thank
platform,
you,
and
thank
they
you
will see
so
the
much. I
ones
have
that
to stop you there
will.
because we have a lot
Yes,
to see go through, right now.
yes,
So I want to
sure.
say thank you to the legend. When we were trying to remember or to recollect the name of the best, female
Yes,
tennis player in
yes,
Nigeria, he
yes,
sent in his report. He said Oshinaike, which Kenny also got. So
yes.
Kenny, I want a quick answer to this particular question. And it has to do something along, the Senegalese coach. And remember, Cameroon also played. I was discussing with someone from Nigeria this afternoon, and he was saying that Cameroon team was unrecognizable because all of the Cameroonian teams that you see, they may not have talent, just like Italian 90, when you beat Argentina 1-0, it was much more of bronze, than brains. They were like, you're not getting through. We're going to play you. You're not getting through this defense. So it was more of effort, you know, and you saw that Cameroonian team that lost to DRC Congo. There was no bite. There was no. So we ran a story about Rigobert Song. When Rigobert Song was in charge, he was doing so well. I mean, they might not have won everything, but they were playing like you expect Cameroon to play. And then they ditched Rigobert Song and went for this white, German coach. And that German coach produced the tamest of all the lions that Cameroon ever came up with. How can you explain that to us, please?
Um, Let me start like this. What you said, the president of Fekafut, Samuel Eto'o, saw that coming because he actually resisted the employment of this coach. You should see the trend now in Africa because that's what we call terrain in football. There's a need for, you can be a brilliant coach and yet you won't understand the terrain of a continent. There's a need for you to understand the knowledge of football of your environment. No matter how sound you are, if you don't know the culture of the football in your locality, that might limit how much you can go. So when Cameroon was about to employ the coach, German coach, he didn't have any experience in Africa. Not one. I mean, I think that was his first time of even coming to Africa to work in any capacity in football. And there's no record, even in Europe, that he has managed loads of African players before to have an understanding of the mentality of the of football in the continent. So if you see when Nigeria employed Eric Chelle, a lot of people came out to criticize what the Nigeria Football Association said, and they are being proven right now is that they went for him because the time we have is not enough to gamble. We need a coach who understands African football, who has been around, who knows the culture, who understands the terrain. That is what I believe is lacking in Cameroon. They just it's like a copy and paste.
Okay.
They need
thank you so much. I'll have to stop you there because we got a lot of things to go through. And just to back you up, we ran a story on More Sports about Avi Renard, who won the AFCON with Zambia and also won in Cote d'Ivoire. And one of the things that we said in there was that he took his time to understand the African culture, the African mentality.
He was coach of Morocco too.
Even before he became all of that, he was an assistant coach in two different African countries where he was learning. And after he had finished learning, he came up with the goods because he understood the environment. And I also back you up on Eric Chelle, which we are coming to now, because it looks like the Nigerian football authorities actually got it right, because this guy has not lost a single game, in the qualifiers. Anyways, before I will move into that, but I would like to read out what the legend has said about the Senegal, about Dr. Wole's conclusion. He said that I still think the Senegalese team just needs a little tweaking in their defense line, especially. They have a ready nursery in France where they can pick young quality defenders, not forgetting the abundance of talents in the under-20 team. So what I would say to that, so that we don't waste our time, is that watch out for what Dr. Wole said. He was on ground for over 2 weeks in Senegal, not because he doesn't know Senegal or he has not been to Senegal like 10 times, but he went there to specifically look at the factory line that produces all the Senegalese stars. And he was in all of the biggest and the best, academies. So watch out for that. You will see that he knows what he's saying about this, about why they're not picking their best players. So watch out for that. And then he also said that in response to Kennedy's submission on Cameroon, the legend says that the rift between Samuel Eto'o's Fecafoot and the Cameroonian Sports Ministry didn't help Cameroonian football. Their decline at all levels has been shocking. Both male and female teams have, fallen. And just to bring a finality on this, what Dr. Wole said about the Senegalese team, why you need to wait for those, videos and reports, is the fact that even in the under-17 that is going on in Qatar, Senegal was dumped by an African team, by an East African team. So what we're saying here is that Africa is developing so fast that smaller countries are not even waiting for big countries. They are doing things the right way, and they will get at you. That's what we. So on this occasion, let's take a little break when I play the More Sports, thing, and then we'll come back for the second round. Don't go away. We'll be focusing on the match tonight. You want to listen to these guys on that. Okay, welcome back, guys. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you for being there. Dr. Wole, thank you for being there. I'm going to start with Kenny this time around. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Yes, I've been very consistent about this. I think Nigeria is superior to Congo DR. The Nigerian players, I mean, if we look at our players, compare the players man to man, we have a better quality of players. I mean, excuse me, please. Super Eagles has a back-to-back African Baller of the Year in their ranks. I mean, the reigning African champion and the one that preceded in Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman. They are in that team. So for quality, we don't lack it. We've never lacked quality and depth in that team. So I believe Nigeria will beat Congo DR if the coach can start with the best lineup. Yes, I said if the coach can start with the best lineup in the sense that all of us know the strongest 11 of Nigeria at this moment, if they are fit. Like you said, I mentioned about the formation I expected. I said, someone asked me on a forum yesterday why I wanted Ademola Lookman and Samuel Moses to start. I said, look, he was talking about the age of Samuel Moses and the performance of Ademola Lookman in the last match. I said, look, first, on Ademola Lookman, he's a genius. He's a match winner any day if he's in the mood. So no ambitious coach is expected to put a player like that on the bench in a crucial match, because if Ademola Lookman is a form, he can decide the game in the first half. So that's why I said, set up your team, see whether you can kick off the game on an encouraging note in the first half. I mean, for instance, you see the game we played against Benin Republic, what really helped Nigeria was because Nigeria scored 2 good, quick goals in the first half. I mean, that would build up the momentum. So if Nigeria should start the game tonight with the correct lineup and kick off things. We are leading Congo DR by 1 or 2 goals. I mean, the coach can play around things and it will encourage the team in the second half. So, solid lineup, wrap up the game quickly, and see how it goes in the second half. That's I believe Nigeria will win. I believe so, because we have better players. Nigeria has better players than
you've been saying this from day one. So, yeah. Dr. Wole, I would like to read out the lineup for today. So Nigeria is playing 4-3-3. Yes. So in goal is Nwabali. There's Frederick. There's Ajayi, just like Kenny predicted. Basi and Sanusi. And then in the midfield, you have Onyeka, you have Indidi, you have Iwobi, you have Chukwueze, and then at the front you have Osimhen and Ademola Lookman. So it looks like Dr. Wole just is so that is the team lineup, Kenny. Yes, this team is fantastic, but I cannot see Akko in it. Why?
I've not seen the team list. I've not seen the lineup, but from what you read out, I don't know what the coach is thinking. But at this point, I believe we should be able to.
Let me see if I can. But that is the team list. What do you put up a post about quality that's been added, to this Super Eagles team, yes. And you mentioned Adam Akko, yeah, and his teammate at Sevilla.
Chidera Ejuke.
Yeah, Ejuke. So why did you put that post up? What do you see in these guys?
Yes, I mean, Akko Adams came to Eagles, he hit the ground running. The same thing, the young guy, the 20-year-old Benjamin Frederick. And Ejuke, I've been a fan of Ejuke for long. I'm one of the few people that have been questioning why this guy is not being invited to the national team as he is expected to be. And someone told me because he fumbled in one of the games. Look, I watched. The focus of many Nigerians are too much on the Premier League. I watch a lot of matches in the Spanish League and the Italian League. I watch Ejuke every weekend. It's a bundle of skill. It's a game changer. So Ejuke coming to the team is like an answer to all what I've been saying. Then the second one is Akko Adams. Yeah. I mean, the coach, are you saying Akko Adams is not starting the match today?
Akko Adams is not on the.
Well, I don't know what the coach is thinking. He understands what he wants to do more than us. So he's trying to play Ademola Lookman and is he trying to play Ademola Lookman and Victor Osimhen in front? Chukwueze is a good player. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a consistent footballer.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, and then you can see you can see the team list, and then you can make your comments on that. So I'm not sure if you see what the team list is against.
It's very tiny. It's very tiny. You can read it to me here.
Oh, okay. So let me see what I can do with that, uh, to get the lists, can you see it properly that way?
It's tiny, but you just read the midfield to
Okay.
me. I care more about the
Yeah.
midfield.
The lineup that we have is Nwabali in goal, Frederick, fullback, Sanusi, Ndidi, Ajayi, Lukman, Onyeka, Oshiman, Chukwueze, Iwobi, and Basi. So the subs, Okoye is part of the sub, Ekong is the sub, Ejuke sub, Adams sub, Osai sub, Arokodare sub, Simon sub, Oyemachi sub, Abdullahi, Obasoge, Adike, and Awazim as all subs. So
yes, I believe 90%. I believe 90% with that team. It's a team that can get the job done. I believe so. First is I'm excited about the presence of Onyeka in that team. I've said it, and I will repeat again, is that to me, Onyeka is one of the players with the highest work rate in that team.
Mm-hmm.
He has been in that midfield. Because I still question why Ndidi isn't even playing ahead of him. I said it to Dudu Orume today that Ndidi is probably playing ahead of Onyeka in that team because of reputation, not because of football. Because when it comes to work rate, Onyeka should always have a starting role in the Nigerian team. So I'm happy that Onyeka is included. So now we have about two anchor OD midfielders in that team. Ndidi and Onyeka.
Okay.
Now the playmaker in court is Iwobi. He's not really doing that role excellently in the national team. His experience, so Iwobi is there to be freed more. Iwobi will be freed more when we have Ndidi and Onyeka close to the defenders. So I think Iwobi will be freer more today to be able to set up Lukman and the Predator, Victor Osimhen. I think Chukwueze is starting because of what he did in the last game against the last qualifying match against Benin. He was fantastic. He supplied Olize because the way this coach is playing is winger that can throw long ball to Osimhen. They're always targeting Osimhen. Maybe that's why Chukwueze is starting, which is good. But I would have preferred a team where Simon Moses will start, not minding his reaction to things. He's a very intelligent player and he's a player that can play at that occasion. But all the same, that team is a good team to start. The coach will see in the first half and it will make adjustments eventually. But the midfield is I'm very happy with the midfield, with especially the inclusion of Onyeka.
Okay.
He's a fighter. He's going to fight for everybody.
Let me quickly read all the comments that we've got before I ask Dr. Wole. Abimbola said, I agree with Kenny that Nigeria will parade better players tonight. Hopefully. Jeff said, we just need to take our chances. If we take our chances, we are good to go. And the legend says, we are not lacking in quality. I am confident these boys can get the job done. So thank you guys for having a lot of faith in the Nigerian team. So I'm going to get to Dr. Wole Opatola. I saw the whole game between Cameroon and DRC Congo. And that game lacked quality, to start with. And secondly, Congo Democratic Republic, as bad as Cameroon were, Congo was defending. They had a low block setup, and they wanted to just eat on the counter. So looking at this lineup, I hope you can see it from your screen.
Yes, Yes.
Looking at this lineup, would you say this lineup is well primed to break down the low block and to find a way in a packed, defense?
Well, I think that Eric Chelle wants to have the control of the game. I mean, he saw the Congo DR and Cameroon game, and there's no doubt about the fact that the Congolese can play. They know how to play football. They have always known how to play football. The problem has always been finishing. The same way they dance Makosa in real life, that's the same way they dance Makosa on the field as well. And I think they get carried away by their own beats, by the rhythm of their own beats, that they oftentimes forget that the most essential thing in football is to put the ball behind into the opponent's net, which has always been greatest on doing. The last on the beautiful, wonderful people. I ended up not winning anything. In fact, I ended up losing in the top third place games. Well, not because they didn't play football, but because they just failed to score. We saw the same against Cameroon, and we are likely going to see the same thing against Nigeria. So what Eric Chelle wants to do this time is to have total dominance of the game, so that what we said should have happened yesterday, the Brazil-Senegal game, is what we are now going to see today. A total domination of the game by Nigeria. And when you are in a state of dominance, your chances of scoring are higher.
Okay. I think we're having
Nigeria as weekend attacking.
I think we're having some issue with your audio.
My audio?
Yeah.
You can't hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
It's clearer now. Yeah.
Yes. I think that Nigeria has weakened our our attack to strengthen the midfield. Because when you have two strikers, it is always a threat. It's always a big threat to your opponent. And in this situation, to defend more. Because when you have two strikers, then you have to place 3 defenders on them.
Okay.
When you play opponents to place 3 defenders on him. But now, every time you play 2 strikers, then your opponents are playing 3 defenders on them, which means that your opponents have 2 men going forward. But now, the opponents are going to be more relaxed in defense. But then, the addition to our midfield, is that going to be enough to put extra weight or extra force on the opponents, big enough for them to retract? So it's a gamble. It's a massive gamble. I would have stuck with the 4-2-4 formation, because for me, it has been working for the Eagles in the last 3 games, back to back. Okay. So, but then Eric Chelle is the one with the team. He is the one who prepares them in training. He is the one who knows their mindset. He is the one who knows their readiness. So I'll give it to him. However, Onyeka coming to the team is not bad. He's a good player. He scored a beautiful goal against Benin Republic that brought us to Morocco. When he came on in the game against Gabon, he was fighting hard. He was battling hard in the midfield. I hope he takes the same form. I hope he takes the same readiness into the game today, which is a much, much more important game, which is the most important game that the Eagles will play this year before the AFCON. And I hope that the party to be enough cross here for to score.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. What is your prediction in terms of scores?
A Super Eagles victory, no doubt about it. A Super
Give me the scores. Is it 2-1? Are you predicting 3-1?
It could be 2-0.
2-0. Regulation time.
It could be 2-0.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it could be 2-0 regulation.
Okay. Kende, what is your prediction?
And Nigeria definitely will beat Congo there. They don't have the personnel to match the player we have currently. I think Nigeria will beat them. I scoring side because of Osimhen. Osimhen is there. Lookman is there. Osimhen is there. Like 3-1. 3-1.
Okay. All right. So I think we've covered quite a lot for today. So we're just going to run through what we've got coming for AFCON. Because again, Dr. Wole and Kenny Fagbuu, they've bought the tickets. They've packed some of their bags, and they will be on the flight to Morocco for AFCON. And like we said from the beginning, and then we have some strategic associations, with that we're keeping under wraps, to get to you the best that is coming from AFCON. All the news, all the clips, everything that you need to know, we're getting it for you. So I'm going to ask, Dr. Wole has got something up his sleeve because it's going to be live in Morocco, and he says he wants to give back to our listeners. So please, what do you have in store while I share the YouTube page on which this is going to be happening? What do you have in stock for our followers, Dr. Wole?
The AFCON is going to be a 1 month long tournament, so we want to keep everybody, in action. We want to keep everybody, in the mood. We want everybody to keep coming back, to more sports to get everything that they need about the AFCON, because we are going to have men on ground, So there's bound to be rewards, for their efforts, their actions. There's going to be a lot to be won, a lot to go back home with. During the AFCON, there will be a situation whereby some of our merchandise will be on display, for people to take home. I mean, you can see us all wearing different forms of merchandise from more sports, be it round necks to polos to V-necks, with face caps and all, to go on with. There will be cash rewards as well. Of course, there's a need for people to top up their data, every time they keep coming, so there will be some cash rewards, for them. And then there's going to be a whole lot more, which we will be reeling out as the days draw closer, because there's going to be a lot on ground. I mean, there will be opportunities for them to predict and win, for them to predict the scores, real-time scores, in a 90-minute game. There will be opportunities for them also to, talk about those that will be eliminated and those to progress, and we're just going to be refreshing, we're going to introduce different aspects of it every day as the tournament progresses. So the best is for them. Let's keep the rest under wraps.
Oh, okay. And you're saying that all of these is going to be exclusively happening on our YouTube page, not the Facebook page.
That's
and that
right.
People should actually subscribe right now, to our YouTube page, because, and I'll quickly give a reason for that. A lot of the promotions that we do on Facebook itself is saying that they're against the rules. So we don't want to break rules. We are for the rules, and this organization called More Sports respects all of the rules, that authorities put in place. But YouTube allows us to do what we want to do. And now I come to Kenny. I like you. Something has been going on our Facebook page. When people saw you and Dr. Wole in those merchandise, and they said, "Oh, I would like to buy. Where can I get it?" So, what do you have to say to these guys?
Yeah. Oh, yes. It's quite interesting that people are seeing what we're doing, and they are keen to them. You can see that the three of us on this video, we are wearing different designs of more sporty shirts. We have many. We have the cap, we have the shirts, we have the capacity to brand bags and all those. So for the shirts, if you really like the quality of the shirts, because it's high grade. They are high grade,
Yes.
high grade, high grade shirts that you get in the market. We have affordable price placed on them because we are not actually selling them for profit. We'll be selling them for affordable prices for our teamy fans. So it will serve as two ways for us. They love the brand and they can make us visible. So if you really want to get the three designs that we have on offer now, you can see the one I'm wearing, the round neck, with our top logo. One of our followers said he loved this because it looks so simple. And there's another brand that Dr. Wole is wearing with our full logo on the shirts. And you see Mr. Jeze Adeniji is wearing another brand with a polo. So if you want to get them, you can reach out to Toyib Gidado. We will put all the information on the Facebook.
Oh, okay.
All these things are available in our Lagos office, and we have been distributing anywhere you are. We can distribute them. So if you link up with Toyib Gidado, go to his messenger.
No, we'll put all the information there. We'll put the information there. And the last one is I want you to address the issue of our staff demands, the guys who are engaging with us most on our platforms, that we are still fully with them. And as we promised, we will give what we promised. But as you know, there are rules on Facebook that if we go overt and we do it publicly, we might be sanctioned. So, but you told me that you'll be getting in touch with the winners, in their private inbox. Please address this issue as well.
That's true. That's true. So that's what we'll be doing because we are limited to how much we can the interactive programs that we can create with our followers on Facebook because of Facebook rules. Because Facebook specifically frowned at enticing, that's what they use, inducing followers. So and most of the time, the rules of Facebook are being enforced by artificial intelligence, not rational human beings. So when we give prices to our top followers, the AI might interpret it and see we are inducing them with money to follow us, which is contrary to our principle. So because of that, we are going to be reaching out to our next set of followers in December in their private inboxes. We are going to announce them, but the prices will not be announced. Will not be announced. So they have to be aware of that. And we'll be reviewing the process going forward after December. We look at the modalities of how to make this better and to keep within the rules of Facebook.
Okay, so thank you so much. That is, you heard it from the boss. Kenny is the boss, and he has said it, and that's how it's going to be. So don't think that we are not. We always find ways to engage with our subscribers just as you're engaging with us. We think it's fun, and I can say that all of you who have been the best engagers, with more sports, and you've got a prize and you've got merchandise, you have testified to the fact that we do quality merchandise and we give it out, to those who win, just for you to be part of what we're doing. If you've got one, you can also go onto our Facebook page and comment, let us know. Jeff says, what about the followers on YouTube, X, and Instagram? Will they be rewarded too? Right now, what do you have to say about that, Kenny? Jeff asked a question. He says, what about the followers on YouTube, X, and Instagram? Will they be rewarded too?
Like I said, um, we are growing. We are growing and we are evolving. And every step we reach, we audit. We do what we call self audit.
Yeah.
And we plan better. So and it won't be different for our top 10 top followers program. So after the next one, we started the top followers prize this year.
Mm-hmm.
So fully all the quarters of this year, we gave out prize in March, June, September, and we'll be giving the last one out in December. So after the December gifts, we sit down again and audit what we did throughout the year and review. For our followers on Twitter, Facebook, we come back with something. We come out with something, definitely. We audit the system and we review how we can reach all our platform, all those people who are engaging on our platform, particularly on our YouTube page, because we want you to be engaging on our YouTube page. It's so important. You need to subscribe and follow us there. So we will review and we let you know.
Thank you so much, Kenny, for that clarification. I hope you are clear about that, Jeff. So I was part of the committee that he was talking about, and what we did was that if you understand that on our Instagram and X and YouTube, the engagement we have there is not as high, the volume that we have on Facebook. So we're rewarding where we have the most volume. So when we do the next review, if you guys join our Facebook, if you join our YouTube channel, you refer your friend to join, and we see the rate of engagement going forward. Like I will say to you, we're not even making money out of it. We're not making money from any of this platform yet, not a dime. But it's just within what we want to do is we want to create a real engagement with our followers. So when we reach that threshold where we believe that, okay, all of the activities, that we have on a particular platform is growing, to a certain level, then we will think about how we reward and what kind of reward we have. And we also have to now think about what the rules are on each platform. Like Kenny said, we were contacted by Facebook. Oh, don't induce. You are inducing if you do this and that and that and that. So we don't want them to just put us on a list, of people who offend. We don't want to offend anyone. So that's why we are kind of like not announcing anymore what the prices, what the financial prices are on Facebook. No, we will come into your inbox and then we'll let you know. But in choosing who gets what, it's not done by me, it's not done by Kenny, it's not done by Dr. Wole, it's not done by Abimbola, it's not done by some of our colleagues, around the world. It's done by the algorithms. It's done by the algorithm. So whoever the algorithm shows, because everything that you do is kind of logged, and the algorithm lets us know per quarter, per month, per day, whatever we need. We just need to, type it in and we get what we need. So on that note, I would like to say thank you so much, Kenny, the boss, for making sure that you created the time to see us today, and that you've always been going. I think you were so busy at work. That was why you couldn't go to G-Tech Stadium for the Four Nations tournament. But this time around, you created time to go to North London, and then you're going off to Morocco, leaving me here to manage the studio. So thank you for coming and sharing all of this, your experience and the things that you saw, behind the scene. And thank you, Dr. Wole Opatola, for making sure that you also share your experience with us. And we want to thank you for all of our followers. We don't take what you do for us, lightly, because we can dance all we can produce the best, content all we can. If you're not there to enjoy it, if you're not there to share it with your friends and family, then we wouldn't have a job. So thank you so much. So till the next time when we come online, which I will be dragging Kenny a lot. I'll drag them in when they are in Morocco. I'll drag Dr. Wole into the studio when he's in Morocco and when he's back from Morocco. And also, watch out, we will be contacting one or two of you guys into the studio during the AFCON, Nations Cup. So don't think that we engage with every one of you. In fact, Kenny is our algorithm in chief. He knows the quality of thoughts that you put in. Every day he goes to read and he looks at that and say, oh, maybe we need to invite this person into the studio. So if you do get a message from him to say, oh, do you want to appear, in the studio for this particular topic, understand that he's been following you for a long time. So as you're following us, we're also following you. So on that note, thank you very, very much. That will be it for today.